So with this quick video, to show you how you can add more interactive activities into Schoology from your PDFs. So for example, I'm going to go into resources and I'm going to download a file. So like let's say we're using the pre-ETS shared collection, right? And then I click in here. So pretty much everything in here is a PDF, right? I'm going to go into this additional resources and then I'm just going to pick like this one right here, the fifth one. So let's say this was our lesson. If I click on it, after it finishes downloading, it's 18 pages. This is straight up a PDF, right? Let me scroll on it. Okay, so here's the story. And then here's the open-ended questions, more open-ended. And then here's some multiple choice ones. Okay, so we're going to use this one so that way I can demonstrate how you can do this. Okay, so what we need to do first is we need to download the file. So I'm going to click right here on the downloads. Okay, and then, so here it is. It just downloaded into my Adobe. Okay, so now at this point, I'm just going to close this out just so that way it's not in the way anymore. Okay, so then I'm going to shrink the Schoology window a little bit so that way I can see the Adobe file and then the Schoology on the left side. Okay, so here's the story where it starts. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to, you can actually create your resources in your resources tab, and then you could from there copy them into more than one class at the same time if you wanted to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into courses and I'm going to do it this other way. I mean, there's two ways that you can do it. Actually, there's more than two ways, but I'm going to just go into the class and create the create the assignment inside the class. So let's say what I wanted to do was, my intent is to have the story. Students are going to read it, and then I'm going to give them the open-ended questions and then a couple of these multiple choice ones, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Schoology, hover, let's say I'm in the spot where I want to post the assignment. I'm going to hover till I get the green line, click on it. I'm going to go to test or quiz, okay? That's what I'm going to do right now. Test or quiz, and the reason why I wanted a test or quiz because I wanted to grade for me and evaluate for me. Okay, so I'm going to call this on the move. Okay, on the move, 100 points. It's a daily grade. Actually, you're going to have just formative and summative on your end. I think that those are the only two categories that you have. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I wanted to go to all my sections. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to create it. Okay, so then this creates the shell. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to add questions. But before I add the questions, right, before I add these questions, I want the story itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my PDF and then I'm holding down my left button and I'm just going to scroll all the way to the very end, and it's highlighting, it's selecting like the page numbers too, so we're going to have to come back in here and do a little bit of cleaning up. Okay, so I got the whole story in there. Now I'm going to, yeah, it's moving on its own. Come back. Okay, it's doing some weird things. Okay, so from here I'm going to copy it. Okay, so you can do like a right click, copy. And now I'm going to come back to Schoology. So I'm going to click on add question, but what we're going to do instead is we're going to add text, okay, because we're going to add the story first. So I click on that, we get our text box. So in here I'm going to right click and then paste. And so now our story shows up in here. So here's where I'm, this is going to take time, but you'll have to come in here and, clean it up just like that, right? So make sure that the lines make sense, and because it doesn't come in perfect, what we could do is, and this actually, this really is not too bad because at the same time it's kind of giving us where we have to read it and then we have to know kind of what's going on. So it gets us in there to mess around with the curriculum too. Okay, so this is probably what takes the longest, and some of these things you could, leave it like that. I'm going to indent this. this to, I'm gonna indent. Anyway, so y'all know. So then you would go down. I'm not gonna take any more time. Now this one, so like that's the page number. So it would be a matter of like, you'd have to come and delete that. So let's say we're done and we cleaned this up about, and it's like how we want the students to have it. Okay, so let's say we're done. So at this point, we can just create the text, but let's say we wanted some of these images to show up. That gives context to the reading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my snipping tool. And if you're I'm on a Mac, but on a Windows, you have the snipping tool also. So here I'm going to snip all of this right here. So as soon as I let go, it creates this. I'm going to open it up, and then I'm going to save the file. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to hit done. It goes into my desktop. That's where I know it goes. So then I hit enter. I'm back over here. I'm going to put the picture in there. So I'm going to click on this little square image. I'm going to attach the file. So I'm going to go into my desktop because that's where that image went. And here it is right here. Okay, so there it is. And then I could resize it at this point. So by clicking one time, it turns blue. And then right here in the corners, I can just drag it down. And then if I want to center it, okay, so now that's, I don't know what these red things are, but okay, so there's the image, and you could do, if you wanted to add these other images on it. I went too far. Like these right here. Oh, that's for the questions. Okay, so we'll worry about that in a little bit. This thing is just lagging. Okay, so I'm coming back over here to Schoology. Okay, so we're done with that. So I'm going to create it. So here's the text. Actually, you know what? I probably didn't even need to do this, but because it came in pretty good, I would just probably delete the white space. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so we have our text. So now we're going to add our questions, right? These right here. Okay, so I'm going to go to add question. So the first one is a open-ended, so short answer. Okay, so here it is. Again, I'm going to come over here to this side. I'm going to hold down the left button. I'm going to right-click, copy. Come back in here, tap on it to where I see my cursor, right-click, paste. So here's our questions. Okay, and then again, if I want to add the image up here, what do you think? I'm going to use my snipping tool. And then I'm going to click over here where my cursor is, the square, image, attach the file, and it's in my desktop. So now this, I think it's this one. Yeah, that one, okay. And it's a good size, so I'm just going to center it. Okay, so that's that one. And then here I could change, if I wanted to give it a character limit, I can let them video or audio record their answers. So that kind of helps, that differentiates for kids who are dyslexic or have a hard time explaining themselves. You can make it timed if you wanted to. I wouldn't mess with that so much, but here's where you can add a rubric if you wanted to use a rubric to grade. If not, you can just click create the question. Okay, so now we have question 1, and then we do the same for question 2. Come back here, add a question. It's another short answer. Highlight, copy, paste. Then if you want to put the image in there, snip it, give it some space, the square, image, attach the file, go to my desktop, this one, here's the image, center it. Yeah, that one kind of looks weird. I'm not going to center it. Oh, actually, that didn't look so bad. Okay, so it's centered. I'm going to allow the video responses, create the question. Okay, so now we got 2 questions. Okay, if we wanted to insert a page break, you can actually go to add questions and right here put a page break if you wanted one right after the text. But now, so let's keep going. So here we have all of these multiple choice questions. So we can do the same thing with those, but that will get, that's a lot of work, right? Copying, pasting, all that stuff. There is a tool that makes that job a lot easier. And I'm going to, let me show it to you. So it's called, and I already have it bookmarked. I think it's in here. Maybe not. I should have had it open before. Let me see if I got it in here. No. Oh, you know what? Maybe I do have it just in my. Where in the world did I do it? Okay. So let me look for it. I'm going to put Blackboard quiz generator. Okay, I think that's. I don't know where I got it bookmarked, but I don't know where it's bookmarked in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with this video, I'm going to show y'all. I didn't have it bookmarked. Okay, let me bookmark it. So I'm going to have this link bookmarked so that way you can see it. So I'm just going to give it a name, On the Move. Okay, so now what we're going to do here, it says paste, type or paste your questions. So I'm going to come back over here to my questions, copy, right click, or actually select and then right click, copy. I'm going to come back over here, click on it one time so my cursor is in there, right click, paste. Okay, so all my questions are in here. So with this one, there are some things you have to consider. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to link this one right here that has the instructions. So it'll tell you like if you want to create like multiple choice questions, just each question on a single line, and then the answers immediately following the question, and then you put an asterisk in front of the correct choice. Okay, and then this, it gives you an example. If you're doing multiple answer ones, so it's like a multiple choice, but there's more than one right answer, you just have to put that asterisk. Okay, so there are certain things. So here's our question, and then we just have to put a space. Here's our second question, space, third question, fourth question, 8, 9. Okay, so that's it. So now the only thing we have left to do is like put the right answer. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't have an answer key, so I'm just gonna do this. So obviously you're gonna have to have a answer key. So the asterisk is the one that's telling the system what what's the right answer and what's the wrong answer. Okay, so now we're done. Okay, so now we click over here, and actually no, I think it's in the bottom. Oh, right here. We generate the quiz. Okay, so now the quiz is generated. It tells us your test appears to contain 9 questions. Download the generated quiz. So we're going to click on it, download it. So here's our quiz. This is what we're going to upload into Schoology. So now I'm going to come back to Schoology, and I'm going to add question, but this time I'm going to import. Okay, I'm going to click Blackboard. Next, I'm going to click this little icon, and then the file came into my downloads, BB Quiz 2. So I'm going to go into my downloads, BB Quiz 2, open. Okay, here's the file, import, and here it added 9 questions. Okay, so now, and actually it added on top of these, which is not how I wanted it. So then I just have to reorder them. So like options, reorder. So I have to come over here to the text. It's right here. So I just gotta, hold on, what are you doing? Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. I got kind of mad. It's probably because it's a big file. So I'm just dragging this stuff up. So yeah, this is taking a while. So obviously the fastest way to do this is with a PLC. So like if someone is taking, yeah, so here's the story. So if someone's taking like one and then someone else is taking another, you can do that. But if you think about it, this is probably not, it's probably the same as creating, laminating and creating, what do you call it, job aids and that kind of stuff. So it's not as, it's kind of the same type of work. It's just different. This is more abstract, I guess, than the other hands-on type of work. Okay, so now the questions that we just downloaded, multiple choice. So you can actually, let me say, I'm going to save the changes because we just reordered them. Okay, so now the questions, if you wanted to look at them, I'm going to maximize it now. So like, let's say, okay, those are questions. We already messed with that. This one right here, the first multiple choice one. How did Maria measure her bedroom furniture? So if we wanted to look at it, we can edit. Okay, so here's the question. And again, if we wanted to add an image, you can do that here too. Here you can change the order of them. Here is where the asterisk tells us this was the right answer, but you can change now. You can change the right answer to any one of these. You can add more choices. You can randomize the choices now. Allow partial credit. You can time the question if you wanted to do that. And then you can change the points. And then if you wanted to do like Teaks alignment so that way you can look at data, you can do that also. But I'm going to hit save question. So anyways, you can work your way down if you wanted to do that. So now I'm going to go into settings. Okay, so here's settings. Here's where you can put instructions to the students. Please read the story and answer the questions. And then submissions, enable it so that way they can start turning in. Okay, enable it. You can give them a time limit. You can give them attempts, time limit, actually the number of attempts. You can randomize the question order. I'm going to put no. You could use page breaks. You can give them a Spanish language keyboard if you wanted them. If they're English learners in your class, you can give them a question review. You can have them begin and then resume it later. You can let them view their submission with the correct answers or just view it. Okay, you can hide the point values if that stresses them out too much, and then the short answer you can give them more blank lines if you wanted than 5. Okay, so that's the settings. I'm going to hit save. Okay, now preview. So here's where you can preview the test, see what it looks like. Okay, so here's the image, here's the story. These are the ones that I didn't change, and then here's question 1. So they fill it in. They could record. This is the option where if you wanted them to record their answer, they just click on it, and then it starts the recorder, video and audio, or video or audio. Okay, so mine doesn't work because I'm not viewing it. I'm not a student, I'm just viewing it as a teacher. So then here they fill this in, and then here's the multiple choice ones. Okay, and then they submit. All right, so now after students start submitting, here's where you can start to see the results, and you can actually go into their attempts and then do like some error analysis if you wanted to do that. And then you can also see their comments or write comments to them. All right, so that's how you create a worksheet. Now, this one is very high level, right? It's not a lower level one. So if you are creating something for lower level kids, well, then you could do the same, except for the true false one, instead of making all the words, then you just start adding the images, because this one that I downloaded is very, I guess is like level 3 or level 4, but you just pick the one that's a level 1, and then whatever images they have, if they're using like the picture communication system, then you would snipping tool, paste the picture in there, and then same thing for the answers. You just snipping tool the images, and then you put the images in there. Okay. All right, so okay, so that's the video. This is just a real fast how you can create an assignment or a quiz, and then use the test generator tool, which is really helpful, and it saves you a lot of time.